Vic and Bob's Big Night at 9 p.m, BBC Two Bad Accents, the return of Graham Lister, and Idris Elba worrying about his kestrels getting wet. Yep, Vic and Bob are back with the one-off episode of their much-missed show. As ever, they offer meandering comedy that isn't afraid to disappear up a cul-de-sac, provided there's a gag to be found there. That all this silliness imbues a warm sense of familiarity shouldn't be taken as a criticism, but an indication of the duo's abiding influence. Jonathan Wright-Tim Vine travels through time. Christmas special 7:30 p.m. BBC One. Nothing says Christmas like a fusillade of puns. Happily, that's just what Tim Vine, traveling not just in time with this show, but all the way from Radioland, has got in store for us. In what is essentially Mr. Ben but with nearly real people such as Anna Bunton, Tim travels from his antiques shop to Tudor England, where he lands a role as Henry VIII's jester. Appearances also from Sally Phillips and Reverend Richard Coles. John Robinson. Eric and Ernie's Home Movies 8 p.m, BBC Two. Because Christmas wouldn't be Christmas and all that. A double dose of E&E. First, a trawl of their archive of home movies from the 1950s and 60s, seen for the first time by Eric's surviving relatives. Then, on BBC Four, an engaging Neil Forsyth scripted drama starring Stephen Tompkinson as Eddie Brabham, the Liverpudlian co-responsible for the massive success of the duo in the 70s but who was worked to exhaustion under pressure. David Stubbs. Frankie Boyle's 2017 New Year World Order 10 p.m, BBC Two. The first run of Boyle's studio-bound current affairs vehicle coincided with the shock of the general election and the horror of Grenfell Tower and saw the abrasive Glaswegian catching the zeitgeist to impressive effect. He'll have plenty to cheer on in this end-of-year roundup, given the absence of Charlie Brooker from this year's Christmas schedules. This is your best bet for a skeptical, scabrous take on another troubling political year. Phil Harris and Elvis, The Rebirth of the King 10 p.m, BBC Four. Derided as Presley's pill-popping, jumpsuit-wearing period often is, might it actually have been the apogee of his career? Probably not, to be honest, but this film heroically argues just that, tracing his journey from the 1968 TV comeback special, to the double whammy of In the Ghetto and Suspicious Minds, and sequined, balladeering, OTT comeback. As saxophonist Jimmy Mulador says, every celebrity would come to see him and just got Ali Catterall. Delicious 9 p.m, Sky One. New series of the restaurant drama starring Dawn French and Amelia Fox. It is a year since Leo's death and the alliance between Sam and Gina at the Penrose remains fragile, while Teresa's therapy hasn't diluted the cynicism inherited from her father. Gina's encounter with her past leaves an important decision with an unprepared Sam. Luckily, Mimi's on hand to help. Unluckily, Mimi's previous offer of help had attracted some unwelcome attention. Mark Gibbings-Jones lives on parole 9 p.m, PBS America. Absorbing documentary filmed over 18 months inside the prison system of Connecticut, focusing on the delicate relationship between inmates provisionally released and those supervising them. It is not a decision taken lightly. I make a living taking chances, says one parole officer, as she negotiates a balance between protecting the public from her charges, while saving the parolees from themselves. This is, in part, a study of how hard it can be to help people. Andrew Mueller. Film Choice Up, Pete Docter. Bob Peterson, 2009, 2:25 p.m, BBC One. This charming animation is one of Pixar's finest, centering on the poignant friendship between curmudgeonly old Carl, voiced by Edward Esner, and chubby, lonely Boy Scout Russell, Jordan Nagai. Together they adventure in a balloon-powered house to a South American jungle, in a tale of life, loss and chasing that dream, all sprinkled with magic. Brave. Mark Andrews, Brenda Chapman, Steve Purcell, 2012, 4:20 p.m, BBC One. The fiery, red-haired Princess Merida, voiced by Kelly MacDonald, is a proper female Braveheart in Pixar's dazzling mock fairy tale. The scene is the lush medieval Scottish Highlands, where Merida is outraged to learn that her parents, Billy Connolly and Emma Thompson, want to marry her off, so off she stomps to the woods, in search of an alternative to the traditional fate of storybook princesses. Paul Howlett. Gone Girl, David Fincher, 2014, 9:15 p.m, BBC One. Gillian Flint's bestseller gets the David Fincher treatment, an unsettling tale of murder and misogyny. Rosamund Pike's Amy and Ben Affleck's Nick meet, marry and settle down to a life that's far from happy ever after. They're obliged to relocate from New York to the Midwest where, nightmarishly, she disappears and he is prime suspect. as her diary reveals the darker side of their relationship. Live Sport Darts, World Championship 12:30 p.m. Sky Sports main event. The opening pair of quarter-finals from Alexandra Palace. Premiership Rugby, Bath v Wasps 7 p.m. BT Sport won a match from the 12th round of fixtures from the Recreation Ground. Scottish Premiership Football, St Mirren v Dundee United 7:30 p.m. BT Sport 2 Dundee visit the Paisley 2021 Stadium.